Once upon a time, in a cozy little garden on the edge of a lush green forest, there lived a curious and adventurous young rabbit named Bunny Hop. Bunny Hop had soft, fluffy fur that was as white as fresh snow, and bright pink ears that wiggled whenever he was excited. He lived with his family in a snug burrow beneath an old oak tree, surrounded by colorful flowers and tasty vegetables. Bunny Hop loved nothing more than exploring the garden and dreaming of the exciting adventures that lay beyond. His mom Carrot and dad Clover always told him to be careful and stay close to home. But Bunny Hop's curiosity was just too strong to ignore. One sunny morning, while munching on a crisp carrot, Bunny Hop noticed something unusual at the far end of the garden. It was a shiny, golden key half buried in the soil near the garden fence. His eyes widened with excitement as he hopped over to investigate. "Wow!" Bunny Hop exclaimed, his nose twitching with curiosity. "I wonder what this key opens." He carefully dug it out with his paws and held it up to the sunlight. The key sparkled and seemed to whisper of mystery and adventure. Bunny Hop looked around, wondering if anyone had lost the key. But the garden was quiet, with only the gentle buzzing of bees and the rustling of leaves in the breeze. He decided to ask his parents if they knew anything about it. "Mom, Dad," Bunny Hop called as he scampered back to the burrow. "Look what I found." Mom Carrot and Dad Clover examined the golden key with surprise. "That's quite a find, Bunny Hop," said Dad Clover, stroking his whiskers thoughtfully. "But I've never seen it before. It doesn't belong to anyone in our garden. Maybe it's magical," Bunny Hop suggested, his eyes shining with excitement. "Maybe it opens a secret door to a wonderful new place." Mom Carrot smiled gently. "Now, Bunny Hop, remember what we've talked about. The world can be full of amazing things, but we must always be careful and think before we act." Bunny Hop nodded, but he couldn't stop thinking about the mysterious key. At night, as he lay in his cozy bed of soft grass, he dreamed of unlocking magical doors and discovering hidden treasures. The next morning, Bunny Hop woke up early, determined to solve the mystery of the golden key. He hopped around the garden, looking for anything that might have a keyhole. He checked the garden gate, the tool shed, and even the old bird bath, but nothing seemed to fit. Just as he was about to give up, Bunny Hop noticed something he'd never seen before. Hidden behind a large raspberry bush was a small, wooden door set into the garden wall. It was covered in ivy and almost invisible unless you were looking very closely. Bunny Hop's heart raced with excitement. Could this be the door that the golden key opened? He brushed away the ivy and saw a tiny keyhole that looked just the right size for his mysterious key. But then he remembered his parents' words about being careful. I should tell Mom and Dad first. Bunny Hop thought. He hopped back to the burrow as fast as his little legs could carry him. Mom, Dad, he called out breathlessly. I found a secret door in the garden wall. Can we go see what's behind it together? Mom Carrot and Dad Clover looked at each other with surprise. They had lived in the garden for years, but had never noticed a secret door. Curious themselves, they agreed to investigate with Bunny Hop. The whole family hopped over to the hidden door. Dad Clover examined it closely. Well, I'll be, he said, impressed. It looks very old. I wonder where it leads. Bunny Hop held up the golden key. Can we try to open it? Please. Mom Carrot nodded. All right. But let's be very careful. We don't know what's on the other side. With trembling paws, Bunny Hop inserted the key into the lock. It fit perfectly. He turned it slowly, and they all heard a soft click. The door swung open, revealing a narrow path that led into a beautiful, secret garden they had never seen before. The hidden garden was filled with flowers of every color imaginable, butterflies fluttering from blossom to blossom, and the sound of a gentle stream bubbling nearby. In the center stood an ancient willow tree, its branches swaying in the breeze. Oh my, gasped Mom Carrot, it's beautiful. Bunny Hop's eyes were wide with wonder. Can we explore it? He asked excitedly. Dad Clover smiled. I think that would be all right, as long as we stay together and be careful. As they hopped along the path, they discovered that the secret garden was home to many friendly creatures. They met a wise old owl named Mr. Toad, who lived in the willow tree, and a family of cheerful chipmunks who showed them where the sweetest berries grew. Bunny Hop was overjoyed. He had discovered a whole new world right next to his home, full of new friends and exciting things to learn. As the sun began to set, the rabbit family said goodbye to their new friends and promised to visit again soon. Back in their own garden, Bunny Hop hugged his parents. Thank you for coming with me on this adventure, he said. I'm glad I told you about the door instead of going alone. Mom Carrot and Dad Clover smiled proudly. We're very proud of you for being responsible, Bunny Hop, said Mom Carrot. And we're excited to share more adventures with you in the future. From that day on, Bunny Hop knew that the greatest adventures were those shared with family and friends. He had learned that being curious was wonderful, but being careful and thoughtful was just as important. And every time he looked at the golden key, which now hung on a special hook in their burrow, he smiled, knowing that sometimes the most magical discoveries can be found right in your own backyard.